Welcome back to the Boondocks Homestead. Today we're going to make some homemade baked beans and I'm going to can them. To start off with, it's kind of simple with these beans. I got navy beans and I'm going to just let these, I'm going to bring them to a boil. I'm going to rinse them off. Then I'm going to put them in the pot. And I got a big pot here. And then I'm going to bring them to a boil. Once they come to a boil, then I'm going to turn them on, turn the fire off, put a lid on them, and let them set for 1 hour. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm not going to take you with me while I do that because I'm just literally putting these in like a colander strainer, and I'm going to rinse them off real quick, put them in there, cover them with water, bring them to a boil, shut them off. Okay? You with me? All right. And then when that gets done, after they've set for an hour, I'll be back on and we'll go to the next step. So don't go nowhere. All right, my beans are not quite done. They've got just a little ways to go. But I don't put dry beans in my jars and can them. I cook them a little bit just to be safe, on the safe side, because the beans in the very center of the jar might not get done all the way. Then they might grow bacteria, and I don't have to explain all that, I guess, to y'all, because I like to be safe when I'm canning stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and start the sauce while I'm waiting on that. And this is going to go in with the beans to make the baked beans. Also, I'm not going to use my apple cider vinegar in this recipe. I'm going to use the store-bought because it's 5%. And I told you, my apple cider vinegar that I make, I'm just not sure. I don't think it gets to 5%. So again, it's a safety measure with me. So actually, it takes 2 cans, 46 fluid ounces, a quart and 14 ounces, I guess. And so I'm going to put 2 cans of this tomato juice in here. All right, so 2 cans of that. Then it's going to take how much is this? 15 ounce? No, 29-ounce can of tomato sauce. I just buy the cheapest stuff, okay? You don't have to go crazy and buy the expensive stuff. It all does the same thing. And if you've got it on the shelf, you can use that. I've got a lot of tomato sauce, but I didn't really want to use it for this. I want to use it for other stuff. So put that in there. Now, if you all didn't see the video I did the other day where I made brown sugar out of white sugar, granulated sugar, and molasses. Okay? So I have that sugar left. I put it in the refrigerator because I had my molasses in the refrigerator, so I didn't know about leaving this set out. So I didn't. I just put it in the fridge. Well, we're going to use this in that recipe. I didn't know how I was going to use all this at one time, but I'm pretty sure this is going to use it all. It takes 2 cups of brown sugar. Okay? Make sure on my recipe, 2 cups, yes. So I'm just going to kind of, now this has the molasses in it because I made it. I made this brown sugar, okay? So there's 1. Ooh, it's going to be close. It's going to be close. I better get a little bit more to go with that. Let me get some more. This is the store-bought brown sugar. If I can get some of this out without making a mess, you guys. I know you can't see what I'm doing really, but I'm just filling this up to the top. I think that'll be plenty. I'm not going to pack it or nothing. That'll be plenty of sugar, I'm sure. Now, let me wash my hands. I got this sticky brown sugar all over me. Okay, so we got that in there. Now I think it's the molasses. Yeah. Okay, so my recipe calls for a half a cup of molasses to go in here. Now, I put molasses in my sugar to make the brown sugar, right? So I didn't want to put a full cup or full half cup of this. So I'm using 1/4 of a cup. But when I put the recipe underneath here, I am going to put the full half cup for you all. But if you make your own brown sugar now, you probably just want to put a half cup. Okay? That's good and thick. Now I think, let's see, we got the sugar, we got the, okay, allspice, a teaspoon, and ground mustard, 2 teaspoons. So we'll do our allspice first. I'm not a big allspice girl, but this is good. We're going to put a little bit of it in there. I don't think I'm going to put a full teaspoon in, though. I'd rather put a little cinnamon than this. It's okay. I'm just not real big on it. So, but I'll put down what it calls for underneath there. I just don't use a lot of it. 2 teaspoons of the ground mustard. Teaspoons? I would think tablespoons, but I think it is teaspoons. It is. Okay. I'll put a little bit more. I always do stuff like that. Y'all know. Okay. And teaspoon of salt and 2 teaspoons of pepper. Where's my salt? Hold on. So it takes 2 of these and 1 salt. Now, 2 tablespoons of this apple cider vinegar. One and 2. Okay, now I'm going to give this a little stir. Let me get a whisk here going. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. We're going to let this simmer for 5 minutes. Basically, we're just kind of getting it hot to put over the beans in the jars. I'm not going to have hot jars. I'm not going to have, nothing's going to be really hot except the beans and maybe this. I think it'll be okay though to put in my jars. All right, now I'm going to put, I cut up, these are out of the garden, the green peppers, and I cut up 3 of those. I think they were small, they were about that big, and I cut up 3 of those. It's kind of, to your liking. I'm going to go ahead and put them in there, and then I cut up 1 medium onion, and I'm putting that in there, okay? Now listen, when we pressure can this, that's going to cook all down, remember, okay? Because that's a lot, high heat at 10 pounds of pressure for, I think it's 90 minutes. So we'll go ahead and we'll get this going. Yeah, you can see. We'll get this heated up. These are almost done, and then I'll bring you back. I'll get my jars ready. We'll go ahead and fill our jars, and we'll get all this going and see what happens. All right, don't go nowhere. So what I'm doing is I'm taking these beans out of this hot water so I can get to them without having a bunch of water in my jars. Okay, we'll take that many. Hold on just a minute. Okay, we'll just use this cup. Now, oh, I forgot my, I'm always forgetting something. Always. Let me check this sauce real quick. Ooh, it's done. Okay. It's done. Now, I assume, just like, I'll tell you. Hold on just a minute here. Get some jars going here. Just like the cowboy candy takes a lot of, which is the candied jalapenos that I make, it takes a lot of brown sugar in it and granulated sugar. And so the longer it sits, the thicker it gets, okay? Kind of syrupy it gets. This takes 1.5 cups of beans is what we're going to put in here. Because these, you got to understand, these are going to expand. They're going to grow in these jars. So what is that? See, you'll find little stuff here and there. There's some little holes. I ain't gonna. You just want to try to get that out of there. All right, there's 3. I'm doing 7. My canner will hold 7 quart jars. I was gonna do pints, and then I thought, well, when I buy like the Bush's baked beans or something at the store, They're in a jar this big, or a can. They're in a can that big. And we eat on them a couple of days. So I'm like, nah, I better just go ahead and do quarts. But you can do pints. If you do pints at 75 minutes, pressure can. Um, and in my elevation, I use 10 pounds of pressure. You'll need to find out what your elevation is wherever you are. Okay? All right. So I'll just leave these sitting in here in the water because I won't have time to do another batch till I get back home. Oh yeah, that'll do a whole nother batch. So I'll have 14 cans on the shelf. 14 cans of baked beans. And listen, I really do think now is the time to prepare and get your house in order. I do. I think it's time. Not trying to scare anybody or anything. I just think that times are going to be tough, and we need to start preparing for those kind of times, whether it be for yourself or to help someone else or both. Okay. So let me grab this. I thought I had another pot lifter. I just don't want to set that hot pan on my. Oh, you know what? I know. I forgot I bought these silicone mats. All right, we're going to get this hot sauce over here. And we're going to fill these up to an inch head space. 1 inch. Let me get this bigger. That one's not as big. We'll use this one. Yeah, it already seems like it's thickening up a little bit, y'all. Now I need to get this closer though, or I'll have this strung. If you all have watched me can stuff before, you know I'm not the. I'm kind of messy sometimes, but it's okay. And see how I'm putting some of those green peppers in there? That's gonna be in each one. If you don't like green peppers, don't put them in there. You don't gotta have them in there. So 1 inch is going to be at the top of that neck of the jar. Okay? That right there. That is 1 inch. And just fill up the rest of your jars. I'll fast forward through this so you don't have to watch all this because I know that y'all know how to do that. Fill these jars up. I mean, there's nothing to it. Okay, we debubbled. Put that to the side. Boy, I've got sauce everywhere, guys. Everywhere. But it's okay. I got too many paper towels here. And then you're going to go around your rims real good with your vinegar, right? Because you want your lids to seal. You don't want to go to all this work and then your lid's not seal and you have to throw it away. Okay, now I'm going to put my lids on here. Now, this is going to be a test too because I bought these jars at Menards, I believe. And they're off-brand. Well, they're not balls, we'll put it that way. I don't know if they're off-brand, but I'm not sure what brand they are. Anchor, Hawking. They're not my ball, but they were a lot cheaper. And I thought, well, I'll water bath with them. That's usually what I do. But I thought, you know what? The back of it says that you can pressure can with them. So I'm going to try it. And this is the first time I've tried it. So you'll get to see if it works or not. I'm always afraid of a jar busting in there because I've had a few of them do it. Well, and one of them was ball, but that was my fault because I think I put cold jars in it. You know, it happens sometimes. We get in a hurry. I really get in a hurry sometimes. Like right now, I'm trying to beat the clock before I have to go get, on the bus. All right, so we're going to put our lids on, finger tight. These don't stay on anyways. These come off after they cool down, after 24 hours actually. Then I take them off. Wash my jars real good, and they go on the shelf. Okay, jars are hot. All right, I'm thinking I need a little bit more water. We'll put these in and then I'll see. You never want your jars touching the sides of the canner if you can help it, and you never want them touching each other, because when they start boiling underneath all that pressure, they are rocking and a rolling in there, I'm telling you, and that can cause stress fractures and all kinds of stuff, busted jars. So just kind of take your time and be careful how you're placing them in there, because you know jars are not cheap. Even these ones that I just bought, they're not cheap, you know. And I bet I have over 1,000 jars. Um, that picture that I have on my uh, Facebook page, and I think, yeah, it's on my Facebook page. But that is like 700 and something jars of the jars that had food in them, and I have more than that. And I couldn't tell you how many I bought since then. That was probably 3 or 4 years ago. That picture. So okay, looks all good to me. So I've got a lot of jars. I put a little bit of vinegar in there so I don't get that sediment stuff on there, that calcium buildup, whatever it's called. Little quick rundown real quick. I'm going to get a steady stream of steam coming out of this hole right here. You hold on a minute. Don't ever do this I just put this on, and that's the only reason I'm taking this lid off. But I wanted to show you before you start. But don't ever do that. Like, see how it's steaming already? It was already getting hot. Just don't do that. But I'm going to look up. I'm going to look through this little pinhole. I'm going to make sure I can see light through there. I'm going to test this out, make sure it's in there good. I'm going to test my thing here out, make sure it's working. Okay, your little top thing. I don't know what kind of canner you have. This is what I have, and this is a mirror, I think. I'm not sure. I bought it at Walmart years and years ago. And then make sure your rubber on your canner, if you've got a piece of rubber, most of them do nowadays. Your older ones, they don't, but I don't think they do. I think they just crank down. They may have. I don't know. I've never seen one, investigated one, or looked at one up close. But, you know, with the big dials on the top and everything, real old ones, I would love to have one of those, but I'm not going to spend that kind of money for, no, mine does just fine. But you're going to check for any dry rot or anything on your, you know, you want that in good shape. And just always check that each time, you know, after you wash it, before you can in it. Just look things over, you know, and make sure everything looks safe. I'm going to push that back down. And I'm going to put this, mine has a certain way of, it's got a V here, and then you line it up with that. Okay, now I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to let it come up temperature. I'm going to let it start steaming. After it's steamed, they call venting. It's called venting. So it's going to vent for 10 minutes. After it comes to a good flow of stream, set your timer for 10 minutes. Okay? Then after it's done steaming for 10 minutes, or venting, you're going to put your weight on. And you're going to put it on like that. And then when it starts rocking, then you're going to start timing it for how long you're going to cook it, which in this case is going to be 90 minutes. I don't know. I'm hoping I have time. So it takes a little bit for it to start steaming now. Tim may have to finish it. Which he's feeling a little bit better, so I won't feel so bad about him having to run over here and finish these beans. It won't take him long. He'll just have to take them off the fire and go about his way, right? All right, so now it's just a waiting game, y'all. So like I said, I'll put the recipe underneath this video in the description, and when this is all done, I'll get back with you and show you the finished product. So don't go nowhere. Okay, well, we're all done, y'all. Went and got on the bus and come back, fixed dinner, got this all done. I got it done so Tim didn't have to take it off the stove or anything. It did kind of siphon out just a little bit, but not bad. About a ½ inch to an inch, but that it worked out perfect because it's still, my beans are still covered. So it all worked out good. I'm waiting for them to completely cool down so I can wipe off the jars because they kind of come out a little bit, but they're going to be good. I walked in here, it's like, oh, it smells so good. So I'll put this recipe underneath the in the description of this video. And I decided I wasn't going to make soup beans out of those other beans I had left over. I'm going to go ahead. I've got them over at the house right now cooking, and it's getting late, so I took them over there, and I'm going to go ahead and can them over there. So I'm right there, you know, in the house. So I can go to bed when I get done. But anyway, I went ahead and made some more sauce, and I'm going to make some more of these because they're good. They're good. And these are going to taste so good when you take them off the shelf. And they look really good too. All right, well, that is it. I've got 4, 6, 7 jars, and I'm going to do pints over there. So I'll have probably 14 jars of the pints. And so altogether, then I would have 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 jars. It's like my brain's not, it's just not going tonight. I'm exhausted. I've got this stuff, you know, trying to attack me. I don't know what it is. Whatever Tim's got, I'm sure. So, we took our honey and garlic again. I'm just going to keep on taking it, and maybe it just will kind of make it not hit me so hard, maybe. I don't know. All right, you guys, I'm going to let you go. And I didn't get any shorts put on this week. I'm behind. I am behind. I've been so busy and so focused on trying to get stuff in the cabinet, in the freezer, and stuff canned up to make room for, you know, when we harvest our venison and stuff for this year. And I've still got 2 hogs. No, I've only got 1 hog in the freezer this year. And then our oldest son, he got 1 butchered. But I mean, it's just like I need to, you know, my freezers need to go down a little bit. So I've been focused on doing that. And I'm still focused on doing that. So anyways, I love y'all. And you have a blessed week, the rest of the week and weekend. And Lord willing, I'll see you on the next video. Bye.